What is ocular? Oculus relates to eyes. So today we'll see about some causative organisms which can cause infections to both, and certain symptoms, signs and symptoms, and how to prevent and treat these infections. So coming to anatomy of the eye, I think you're well acquainted with this thing. Human eye as seen from above. What is this? In this diagram you can see all the parts of eye, and beside it what kind of inflammation is caused, like how do you name that inflammation. For example, if it's cornea which recepts the light, the inflammation in cornea is known as keratitis. After that, what is this portion? Okay, this is lens. Along with the lens and before lens, is there something that gives the color to your eye? Huh? Does ciliary body give color to the eye? Iris. So there is iris, and all together this portion where there is ciliary body, where there is these muscles, this portion where there is a good blood supply which provides nutrition to the eye, this portion is known as uvea. So what do you say? What do you call it? Uveitis, when there is inflammation there. Then this portion is sclera, which is covering this eye. Behind this, what is this? From here? Okay, what is this thing? What does this have? This sphere, what does it have? It's a vitreous humor that gives shape to your eye. It's a jelly-like fluid which is present, and when this portion is altogether affected, it is known as endophthalmitis. All these infections could be due to any bacterium or virus, or as a sequel to any systemic disease in the body. For example, in case of granulomatous lesions, you can see, for example, if there is leprosy, any other granulomatous diseases that you know about, that can also cause endophthalmitis. Other than this, what can also cause endophthalmitis? Or any other part of the eye can be affected due to injury. It can be due to injury, or can be a complication of surgical procedure, right? For example, post-cataract complications. So, coming to conjunctivitis. Everybody knows what is conjunctiva. Everybody has known, this condition is commonly known as pink eye, right? I've got a pink eye. I was suffering with one eye got red before the other eye, and then how did it start? What is the season? Does it start very commonly among the people, and what do you call it? We call it epidemic, frequently during the monsoon season. What could be the causative organism? If you do not treat it, it can subside on its own. So what can be the organism? Can it be due to viruses? It can be due to viruses, right? So this is the commonest ocular infection. What is it? Conjunctivitis. It can be acute or hyperacute or chronic. What do you mean by hyperacute? Hyperacute, as the name suggests, acute means very rapidly growing, very rapidly progressing. Hyperacute means hyper to acute, right? The onset is seen very rapid and very severe. What kind of organisms might be the culprit here? Organism that has very prominent virulence, that are capable of invading the epithelium, invading the mucosa without any injury. What kind of organisms are they? Okay, we'll see that. What about chronic? Chronic, which is not going away in a regular course of disease, which is staying there for weeks, right? That is chronic. Then it can be sporadic. Sporadic means occurring very rarely or epidemic. What are the predisposing factors? In hot and dry climate, you might have seen the moisture in the eyes, it goes away. That makes the eyes prone to these diseases, and if somebody has a very poor hygienic conditions. Have you heard about the chlamydial conjunctivitis? How does it occur? What is the root of infection there? The root of infection is oculogenital, right? Where is chlamydia found? So, poor sanitation and dirty habits. What is this? Acute bacterial conjunctivitis. The most common culprit again is Staphylococcus aureus. Any infection in the body can be caused by Staphylococcus aureus, and very frequently, because it is present as a normal flora also. Staphylococcus species, Coagulase negative Staphylococcus, Staphylococcus epidermidis, found on the flora. But this, if somebody is suffering with MRSA and suppose a nursing officer touched the patient, drained the patient's pus which had MRSA in it, and this nursing officer, without performing any hand hygiene, just went on doing his own task, put his hands in the eyes, this can lead to Staphylococcus aureus conjunctivitis. Put your phone down. Okay. Then Streptococcus pneumoniae, which can also cause subconjunctival hemorrhages. Can you see there is these blood vessels that appear dilated? Then there are certain other gram-positive cocci such as Streptococcus pyogenes. Haemophilus aegypticus can cause mucopurulent conjunctivitis. What is mucopurulent? Is this a mucopurulent conjunctivitis? Mucopurulent will show you profuse pus-like secretions from the eye, right? And angular conjunctivitis, which is caused by Moraxella lacunata. Other bacterial conjunctivitis caused by Pseudomonas aeruginosa. What kind of pigment is produced by Pseudomonas? Green in color. Some kind of pigment is there, some kind of fruity odor is there when there is Pseudomonas infection. Then Neisseria gonorrhoeae, hyperacute bacterial conjunctivitis. We were talking about invasion of the epithelium without any injury. So this is the organism which can do that. So even when the girls, they are using the common toilets, is there a chance that you acquire gonorrhea? Okay, then mucopurulent conjunctivitis, again in case of Neisseria meningitis and Corynebacterium diphtheriae. What does it cause? Acute pseudomembranous conjunctivitis. So when there is Corynebacterium in the picture, you know that there is pseudomembrane is also there in the picture. What does this disease cause? What does this organism cause? Which disease? Diphtheria. What do you see there? What do you see in the throat? Okay, so in case of conjunctivitis, you see that one eye has affected before 1 or 2 days from the other eye. Then there is mucopurulent discharge, discomfort, redness, sticking together of lid margins with discharge, and slight blurring of vision. Is there a pain here? No. Because if there is a pain in the eye, it might suggest that it's more than the conjunctivitis. Okay. If nobody has suffered with conjunctivitis here, it's a lie. Almost, I think, how many of you had the red eye at least once in life? So you all know what it feels like. Okay. What are the signs? You will see conjunctival congestion, matted eyelashes, flakes of mucus discharge in the eye, swollen conjunctiva and eyelid. This flakes of mucus discharge in the eye is the most commonly observed thing. What do you call that thing? When you get up in the morning, you tell your friend you still have sleep in your eyes. So it should be accompanied with all other signs. Okay. Then how do you do the laboratory diagnosis of this thing? You take a swab, sterile, moistened swab. How do you moisten the swab? With the help of sterile saline solution. You send it to the laboratory within 2 hours. Where do you culture it? On blood agar, chocolate agar and McConkey agar. Is there any enriched medium we are using here? Which one of these is enriched medium? Blood and chocolate, both, right? So, when you culture it, what will you do further? If there is a growth, what will you do with it? The person beside Umia, what's her name? Umia, right? The green, Urmimala, yes, behind you. When there is growth on the culture plate, what will you do? What are you watching on the phone? What will you do with the culture plate growth? Okay, you answer this in the last, okay? Till then you find it in the phone, whatever you're doing. Then, what is the treatment of choice? Gentamicin or tobramycin? Which class of antibiotics? Aminoglycosides. So these are the preferred agents. Also this, what is this? Fluoroquinolones. And irrigation of the conjunctival sac with sterile warm saline. This is how you treat a conjunctival infection. What is the prevention? Frequent hand washing. Avoid eye rubbing. Avoid sharing of fomites and disinfection of ophthalmic instruments. What are the ophthalmic instruments? What ophthalmic instruments are people using? People are not using it, the doctors are using it, right? So whenever you visit an ophthalmologist, they should use the sterile equipments on you. Also, if there is a patient with conjunctivitis, what kind of isolation precaution is to be taken by the healthcare worker? What kind of isolation precaution is to be taken? Contact isolation precaution, right? Especially in case of nasal or chlamydial conjunctivitis. What are you supposed to use? The most important personal protective equipment for this. What is it? Gowns and gloves. Gloves first and then gowns if required. Okay. Then coming to chronic bacterial conjunctivitis. It is mild catarrhal inflammation, lasts for months, from weeks to months, right? Then predisposing factors may vary. Before it was just the climatic conditions, poor habits, but here what is involved? Chronic exposure to dust, smoke, alcohol, chemical irritants. So this can be observed in which people? The people who are working at the factories, right? The laborers, the people who work in the smoke houses, all those people. It can be due to the eye strain, due to refractive errors and any other cause of local irritation. Local irritation because of all these factors. Again, the agents, they remain the same. But why is it occurring for months? Because there is constant irritation in the form of occupational hazard. Agents remain the same, but in this case, Proteus mirabilis, Klebsiella and E. coli can also be seen, okay, other than Staph aureus, but it remains the commonest cause. Then hyperacute we already saw, it's a Neisseria gonorrhoeae and it can occur in the two form. In adults you can see acute purulent conjunctivitis that we discussed. What else can be there? Ophthalmia neonatorum. How does this happen? As the name suggests, neonatal. So it is occurring after about 2 days of delivery from the mother's birth canal. The child acquires this infection and it results to ophthalmia neonatal. This is adults acute purulent conjunctivitis where it is capable of invading the intact corneal epithelium and causes this purulent disease. So the treatment will remain parenteral, okay. Then this is ophthalmia neonatal. Can you see this? It is due to transmission of gonococci to newborn from infected mother's birth canal. Occurs within about 2 days of the birth. Here you can give topical bacitracin or parenteral ceftriaxone. Chlamydia trachomatis caused by serovores. What are these serovores? A, B and C, which can cause follicular conjunctivitis. Follicular conjunctivitis means eruption of follicles, hyperplasia of the mucosa, okay. Just remember these serovores. This A, B and C can cause follicular conjunctivitis called trachoma, and this serotypes D to K, they can cause inclusion conjunctivitis. They can affect both adults and newborns. We have discussed this, that in case of chlamydia, direct contact is the mode of transmission. This is how the trachoma looks. It's a very common finding that they ask in MCQs. Okay. 2 to 3 years of age, active disease, aged at about 3 to 5 years. What kind of conjunctivitis is this? They have written here that inflammation of conjunctival lymphoid follicles and papillary hyperplasia. This is how it looks. So you can see the small follicles are erupting. And in case of late stage, it will lead to what? Trichiasis. These eyelashes, they fall on the eyeball. Corneal opacity can be seen. That leads to blindness. The person will complain of loss of vision. Cicatrization. You can see the scarring of this lymphoid follicles. Initially they were like this, afterwards they appeared like this. Okay. That is why World Health Organization has given a preventive strategy for trachoma, which is a SAFE strategy. What does SAFE stand for? SAFE stands for surgery. Surgery to prevent the corneal blindness so that you retain the disease after its diagnosis. Then antibiotics, facial hygiene and environmental sanitation. So basically sanitation is very important when you are dealing with conjunctivitis. Okay. What about the antenatal measures to be taken with ophthalmia neonatal? What were the 5 cleans that we were discussing in the class the other day? 6 cleans of labor. Clean surface, clean water, clean cord, clean hands, right? That 5 cleans should be followed. And thorough cleaning of newborn babies' closed lids. So this is very important. When the baby is out of the birth canal, you might not just dodge the cleaning of the eyelids of the baby, and or you can use the topical ointments to prevent this infection if the mother is infected. Then granulomatous bacterial conjunctivitis, localized to one eye because of regional lymphadenitis. When you are talking about granuloma, some granulomatous lesions are involved already. Some systematic infection is there in the body already. So where there is lymph nodes involved. Okay, which can be seen in which diseases? Syphilis, leprosy, tularemia, tuberculosis. Coming to keratitis, what was keratitis? Corneal ulcer. Okay. What is the etiology? Etiology remains the same in all cases. What is important? What is important? Rapid diagnosis and treatment. Okay. What is this? This is the corneal ulcer. Quite evident, like the cornea is involved. This term you will generally come across, hypopyon. What does that mean? It means presence of pus in the anterior chamber. Okay, it is the typical feature of pneumococcal keratitis. Whenever there is Streptococcus pneumoniae involved, you will see hypopyons. How do you lab diagnose this? You take the corneal scraping. How can you take corneal scraping? So it's a surgical procedure. Okay, has to be done by the ophthalmologist, has to be done by the subject expert. Then bedside inoculation is done within 15 minutes in blood, chocolate and McConkey agar. Or in case of fungal keratitis, what will you use? Fungal media, which is Sebrud's dextrose agar. Then, as the person suggested, Gram staining, James's staining has to be done. You can go for KOH mount. What does KOH mount do? It dissolves the tissue and makes the fungal elements visible. So, whenever some tissues are to be put in the 10% KOH, how long are you supposed to keep it? Will you see it within 1 hour? Suppose you are taking a tissue fragment, you will keep it in 10% KOH for at least 24 hours and observe the wet mount the next day, the KOH mount the next day. Okay. And in case of detection of any parasite, you can just prepare a saline wet mount with the help of given tissue and observe for the acanthamoeba. What is acanthamoeba? What will you be able to see in this case? You will be able to see trophozoites with pseudopodia, right? In this case, you have to start with the combination therapy. What is combination therapy? The antibiotics which are working on gram positive and gram negative both. Any antibiotic which works on the both, which? Antibiotics has been taught in the pharmacology. So now at least you are catching what antibiotics are displayed on the, loudly. Okay. Homework. Which class of cephalosporins covered the Pseudomonas? नहीं पता. Fifth, Pseudomonas. Third and fourth. Okay. What was uveitis? What was uveitis? Last bench, striped, black t-shirt, black shirt. Okay, uveitis was, anybody from this group, what was uveitis? Iris, ciliary body, surrounding tissues, infection. Then you can see granulomatous uveitis, tubercular leprotic syphilitic brucellosis. Wherever there is granulomas involved, all the internal eye parts will be involved. Then pyogenic uveitis relates to all the common bacteriums that we come across in daily life. What are these? Again, Staphylococcus in the first number, Streptococcus and pneumococci or even Pseudomonas. Endophthalmitis was what? Retina is associated here. So what will happen? Exudates in the vitreous cavity, posterior and anterior chamber. What will be the symptom here in this case? Severe pain and blurring and loss of vision, right? Causative organisms remain the same. You will treat it with IV antibiotics. Coming to eyelids, the infection of eyelids are known as blepharitis. You have to think about two kinds of infections. Hordeolum relates to the infection to two kinds of gland. When there is external hordeolum or stye, we are talking about this stye. This is inflammation of gland of Zeiss, okay, where there is upper eyelid is involved and there is internal hordeolum. This is inflammation of the meibomian gland. One of the very commonly seen MCQs. Inflammation of the upper eyelid, stye. Infection of the internal hordeolum, inflammation of the meibomian gland. This is internal hordeolum. This is external hordeolum. How do you treat it? You give the hot compress. What is hot compress? Provide some external hot with the help of even fabric. You just give the hot fomentation so that the pain is relieved a bit and the tenderness is gone. So it releases whatever is there, the pus accumulation, and eventually heals itself, right? So also it can involve evacuation of the pus with surgical incision. Imagine getting surgically incised here. Okay, then antibiotic and eye drops which can be used to reduce the infection. What is this? This is another typical presentation in case of molluscum contagiosum of the eyelids, which is caused due to pox virus. Okay. Then coming to infection of the lacrimal apparatus, what is it known as? Dacrocystitis. Or lacrimal sac is dacrocystitis, lacrimal gland is dacroadenitis. Just remember this thing. Again, the causative organisms remain the same. Topical antibiotics you can use in this case. Coming to viral infections. In case of viral infections, there are two kinds you can see. First is follicular, then hemorrhagic. Hemorrhagic will have follicular manifestation also, but involved with the hemorrhage, congestion and hemorrhage of the blood vessels that are there, surrounding the eye. So, which can be seen in case of Coxsackie virus or adenovirus. Follicular conjunctivitis can be seen in all these cases. What kind of conjunctivitis, what is the route of transmission in case of herpes simplex virus 1 and 2? Two is below the waist infections. One is, okay. Then varicella zoster. Where is the virus latent? In the ganglions. What kind of infection you will see here? It will follow a nervous route. So what will you see around the eye? One dermatome will be affected. So you will see eruption of vesicles around the eye in a single line and associated with very crucial pain. Then you are acquainted with this thing, coronavirus. That was one of the very important findings during pandemic. How did the infection start during COVID-19? What were the common symptoms? फीवर के पहले कुछ होता था? In certain cases, it started with headache and increased secretion, in lacrimation, right? So, it's not necessary that you will find full-blown disease in every case. When it is associated with these viruses, the symptoms vary from person to person. Then, viruses causing posterior eye infections, iridocyclitis, chorioretinitis, and acute retinal necrosis. These viruses are involved. What is CMV? Who will have this virus? People having immunodeficiency, HIV patients, less than 50 CD4 count, they will develop CMV, chorioretinitis. Okay. In case of acute parasitic infections, we have discussed acanthamoeba keratitis. Then coming to Chagas disease, what was the causative organism? Chagas disease. This has been taught to you before. Trypanosoma. Do we remember trypanosoma? What was the sign that was seen in this disease, which involved eye? What is this sign? This is due to Trypanosoma cruzi, which is transmitted by the radioid bugs. Romanas sign. This is a unilateral swelling of the eyelids. Okay, this is what you see in case of Chagas disease. Other than this, there is toxoplasmosis, where you see the ocular manifestations. There is malaria. What else is there? In case of cysticercosis, how does cysticercosis happen? Consumption of uncooked or raw meat. What are you eating there? What is the infective form known as? What is the name of that thing? Is it an egg? Are you sure? What is the name of that larva? Cysticercus cellulosae. What about onchocerciasis? What is the other name for onchocerciasis? Seen in Africa. What is the name of this onchocerciasis? When you talk about onchocerciasis, it is commonly rendered by the name of river blindness. Okay? Bilateral blindness, conjunctivitis with photophobia, and all these symptoms are seen in case of Onchocerca volvulus, which is found in the rivers of Africa. Trichinella, larva migrans, everything can be seen in immunodeficient persons. Then coming to ocular fungal infections. Can you name any fungus that you know about? Molds or yeast like, which can cause ocular infections? Most common yeast like fungus known to you? Candida. Any mold that is known to you? Aspergillus, we have heard about Aspergillus. Okay. What else? There's something called as Fusarium and Mucor and Rhizopus. Mucor and Rhizopus, which is known by the family Zygomycetes, it has played a very significant role during COVID-19. Why? What was used during COVID-19? Steroids. So with the usage of steroids, with the inhalation of spores that are ubiquitous in the environment, the people developed rhinoorbital cellulitis because of mucus. What is the mainstay of treatment in case of mucor? You have to do surgical debridement and start with the systemic antifungals. And the infection, if it is found, should be treated as emergency. You should not wait for the laboratory results to come and then you will decide if there is a fungus or not. If you are suspecting the rhinoorbital cellulitis because of fungus, you should intervene with the surgical debridement and start with the IV antifungals. Okay. This was for fungus. How do you collect the sample for fungus? Similarly, as we collected tissue in case of corneal ulcers and all that, we will inoculate it in the fungal media, perform KOH or chalcophore white staining. Then if the fungus is diagnosed, you will treat the patient depending on the sensitivity of the antifungals. Okay. This is how the Fusarium looks. Can you observe here? You can see some chlamydospores. What are the chlamydospores? What is the pathognomic here? The sickle-shaped macroconidia can be seen in case of Fusarium. Okay, and there will be the chlamydospores. Chlamydospores are helping fungus to survive in the unfavorable environment, right? So, along with this, one more special feature that this fungus has is chemoinvasion. These fungus such as Fusarium, Mucor, Rhizopus, these fungus are capable of invading your blood vessels and spreading into the surrounding area. That is why it is feared the most. Okay. What can you give here? Liposomal amphotericin B and voriconazole. This is how the orbital mucormycosis might look like. You might say that it does not look as severe as a reaction to the patient's face, but you have to figure out that there is unilateral swelling, there is deformity, there is deviation, and orbital cellulitis is prominent. So based on the clinical diagnosis, you have to make the decision of starting antifungals in such cases. What will be the predisposing factor in such cases? You told that there will be a usage of steroids. Other than that, what else will be there? There will be broad spectrum antibiotic for long time course. Along with that, diabetes mellitus, uncontrolled diabetes leading to severe ketoacidosis. Okay, these fungus, they dwell on the acidic, ketoacidotic environment within the body. It is very favorable condition for them. That is why during COVID-19, such cases was very frequently observed, especially in the old age people with diabetes mellitus. What will be the sequel of this? It can lead to meningitis and brain abscess and eventually death. Okay. Other than that, coming to the infections of the ear. So, infections of the ear is similar causative organisms that you saw in the eyes. Most commonly, what will you have in In case of ear, when ear is involved, if somebody had the ear infection, you must be knowing that there is crucial pain that happens, even if there is a folliculitis, right? What is folliculitis? What is folliculitis? Okay, we don't know what is folliculitis. Then otitis externa, as the name suggests, external ear. It may have bacterial, viral or fungal etiology. Otitis externa, localized otitis externa. Furuncle, what is this? Infection of the hair follicle in the external auditory canal over this area. Then what will you have? Even when you are tugging on the pinna, you will have a pain, right? Which can be caused due to bacterius, virus or fungus. Then what is the sample you will take? How will you take it? With the help of swab. Any secretion, purulent secretion that is coming out of ear, you will take it. Then you will run it through the laboratory. If there is growth in the bacterial culture, you will perform Gram stain, you will perform biochemical reaction, you will identify the causative organism, you will perform AST and treat the patient accordingly. Otitis externa, as the name suggests, it spreads to the external ear and adjacent tympanic membrane. Again, the organisms are the same. I will not go through in the detail of this. How are you doing the diagnosis? Ear discharge collected, sent for culture, susceptibility testing. There is something called as, whenever you are suspecting a foul smell or discharge from the ear, there is something called as ear syringing. As the name suggests, oto is ear, mycosis is fungal involvement. What kind of fungus do you know about which can cause otomycosis? You know about Aspergillus, you know about Candida, Aspergillus niger and fumigators commonly found in the environment. Sometimes what happens when you are cleaning the ears with the cotton buds, they might be retained inside and you do not even realize it. When do you realize it? When the ear starts smelling foul. And then when you go to the ENT surgeon, you realize that, oh, something was left behind. How was it diagnosed? With the help of foul smell. It can also be due to hot and humid climate and patients using topical antibiotics in the ear. For example, you had to treat the previous infection and you used a lot of topical antibiotics in that area and that led to the growth of Aspergillus. Okay. In laboratory, you will see that A. niger is producing black-headed filamentous growth. How does it look macroscopically? How does it look in the gross, in the tube? Black moldy fungus. In case of Aspergillus fumigatus, it's very yellowish green in color, right? And in Candida, white creamy deposits can be seen. Okay. There are two kinds of otitis media. Otitis media means middle ear is involved. Acute suppurative and chronic suppurative. Acute suppurative is acute inflammation by the pyogenic organisms. And chronic is what? What is chronic? What kind of people might have acute suppurative media, otitis media? People with the lower socioeconomic group. Why does it happen? Because of poor hygiene, right? Lodging of the wax, which might provide a humid environment for the organisms to grow. Then when you talk about chronic suppurative otitis media, it can be due to aerobic and anaerobic infection. Chronic suppurative otitis media should be treated with care because it might lead to internal, other surrounding brain infection. And what are the common organisms that are involved? Pseudomonas, Proteus, Staphylococcus. That is about CSOM.